Why, hello there. Today we're going to talk about what I'm currently reading and my book future. So let's get into it. So currently I am reading Babel. I got it from the library, and there's a lot of hype behind this book right now, let me tell you. So, this is hype for real. It takes place in the 1800s, and these students that are from all over the world all come to Oxford University. Their campus has what they call the Tower of Babel, where they have students that go that are translators of language, that go and study language, transcribe, and do this stuff. And there's this whole thing of this system of silver work. And silver basically is what's powering everything and adding enhancements to it to make things go smoother, to make your garden have brighter colors in their flowers, like all these things to make a carriage less bumpy. It does these things that are on the edge of being magical. And this Tower of Babel is the heart of where all of this silver work comes from. That is really just providing Britain, making them a very, very wealthy nation. And they have all these students that come from all over the world. And it's this whole system, but it's also a system of oppression because basically they're just taking, and never giving back. And it's all these old, smug white men who just want to pour everything into their society and never give back and not help people that are in need. And it showcases like how the different races were looked at as second-class citizens, how women were second-class citizens. If you weren't some rich white man, you're pretty much worthless. And it brings it to light, and it's done really well. It follows the story of the main character, Robin. That's not originally his name. He's Chinese, and they never even say what his actual name is, but he chooses something that'll be, easier for the everyday white man to pronounce. He goes to this college and he's given this opportunity. His family dies and this professor comes and saves him and heals him when his whole town is being affected by cholera and everyone dies. And he's taken away and given this opportunity to go to work in school in this Tower of Babel. Everything's provided for him. He gets a stipend, he doesn't have to worry about money, and all these students are brought in to do this. But it's the whole underlying current of they're doing this and they have all this opportunity, but they're not treated well. The way people look at them and the way that they're treated. This was in the 1800s, but this still happens today. I think we need more books like this that point it out. People need to read more of this stuff. People need to open their eyes because they're blind. There's also this other faction called the Hermes Society. They kind of portray themselves as a Robin Hood, steal from the rich, give to the poor. But they're really just trying to give back to these different nations that are just having everything taken from them and nothing shared with them, even just for basic healing purposes. Instead, these rich white people buy all this silver and so they can have, prettier flowers in their garden when they could be using this to help mankind. But, they're not, because man is selfish. This book has a lot going on in it, and it's really fantastic. I've never read anything by this author. I know that they also wrote The Poppy Wars, and I went on a long time about this book. I didn't expect to do that. There will be a standalone review for this. It is phenomenally written. I haven't finished it, so I'm really close to the end. I will probably finish it tonight, to be honest, and man, is the hype real? I got 100 more pages to go, and then I can confirm. But it seems like it might be. Recently, I received an ARC, and it is called Everything Will Be Alright in the End. Apocalypse Songs. Oh. And this is by Paul Michael Anderson. It is a book of short stories. I got this through Cemetery Gates Media. We'll have some story time with Sin. I'm going to read you the synopsis. And I've been super getting into short stories. And I've said this before in other videos, but when I was younger, I did not like short stories. And I think I read terrible ones. Because recent times, all the ones I've been reading have been fantastic. And especially, I'm always so impressed that within, a small number of pages, when an author can put such meaning and feeling and depth into such a short, small tale or soundbite, and I love it. So I'm very excited to read this, because as I said, I've been really getting into the short stories. So let's have some story time with Sin. Here we go. What happens after? And everything will be all right in the end. Apocalypse songs. You'll see the lengths that a father will go in order to protect his child. The emptiness that revenge can harness. Gods compelled to act after being forgotten. A boy carrying the weight of decisions he didn't make. And monsters both within and without. You'll meet people who have lost everything, faced everything, lived through the worst that could possibly happen, tempted to pick up the pieces of their shattered realities. And you will hear their apocalypse songs. Oh, that's such a good description. I love it. Thank you to Cemetery Gates Media for the arc. I read 2 other books that they had sent me. One is Bound Feet, which is in the My Dark Library series. That's curated by Mother Horror, aka Sadie Hartman. And then another one was Effects Vary by Michael Harris Cohen. And that was also, both of those, fantastic. So they seem to have like some really fantastic authors under their umbrella. Next up, we're going to go through some of the library books that I picked up recently. So I got a graphic novel, Everything Looks Terrible on the Green Screen. Dang it! I got the Paper Girls, and it is the full, complete set of all of it. I think there's, 12 issues? I don't know. This is currently a series that is on Netflix, so I figured if I read this and I like it, then I'll watch it. Also, recently finished watching The Sandman. If you guys have not seen The Sandman yet, it's like the best thing I've watched in several years outside of Dark and Hellier. Like, TV show-wise, I'm not saying movie-wise. So Paper Girls, it's about these paper girls, and somehow they stumble upon warring time travelers, and it takes place during the 80s, so I love me some 80s nostalgia, so it sounded pretty cool. You know, obviously it's all, like, illustrated, and everything looks weird because of the green screen. Do we got anything they're all... Okay, those pages don't look as weird. I'm excited to read this. Honestly, I cannot remember the last time I have read a graphic novel. Here, let me read you the synopsis so we get some more Still Read Time with Sin. I gotta sing it because I can't help myself. This is the sweeping epic that follows 4 newspaper delivery girls from the year 1988 who uncover the most important story of all time. Suburban drama and surreal mysteries collide in this critically acclaimed tale of nostalgia. First jobs and the last days of childhood. I will have a review for this when I do finish it. So next up we got The Book Eaters. I am super excited for this. I talked about this a while back. I think I tried to get an arc through NetGalley. I never received any kind of response. There was no denial or approval. But my library had it, so here we are. Let's give you a little reminder of what this book is about. I believe I'm supposed to chew on it and eat it, maybe? Read first, eat later. Out on the Yorkshire moors lives a secret line of people for whom books are food and who retain all of a book's content after eating it. To them, spy novels are a peppery snack. Romance novels are sweet and delicious. Eating a map can help them remember destinations. And children, when they misbehave, they're forced to eat dry, musty dictionary pages. Oh man. Pick out some really crappy words for your kids. Do it. Soap. You're gonna eat the soap page today, okay? And after that, vinegar. Eat up. Devin is part of the family, an old and reclusive clan of book eaters. Her brothers grew up feasting on stories of valor and adventure. Devin, like all book eater women, was raised carefully on a curated diet of fairy tales and cautionary stories. Real life doesn't always come with happy endings. Devin learns when her son is born with a rare and darker kind of hunger. Not for books. Oh no. But of human minds. I will probably read this one next after I finish Babel. Alright, and the next up that we have is Mary by Nat Cassidy. I don't know anything about this book. I just keep seeing pictures of it on Instagram, and I know it's horror, and I see it in people's horror collages, and I was curious. So it says Mary, An Awakening of Terror. Let's read the synopsis, because I literally don't know what this is about at all. There's someone in a bathtub reading a book. Nope. Looks like they're writing. And there's some wine. And there's a third hand coming out of the tub. That always makes me think of like the Freddy Krueger movie when the one girl's in the bathtub. Bathtub horror. So Mary is a quiet, middle-aged woman, doing her best to blend into the background. Unremarkable, invisible, unknown even to herself. But lately, things have been changing inside of Mary, along with the hot flashes and the body aches. She can't look in a mirror without passing out. What? And the voices in her head have been urging her to do unspeakable things. Fired from her job in New York, she moves back to her hometown, hoping to reconnect with her past and her inner self. Instead, visions of terrifying, mutilated specters overwhelm her with increasing regularity, and she begins auto-writing strange thoughts and phrases. Mary discovers that these experiences are echoes of an infamous serial killer. Then the killings begin again. Mary's definitely gonna find herself. That's what this says. It says she's gonna find herself after these killings begin. What? Oh, Mary, quite contrary. This is how I choose my books. Some I read the synopsis. Some I just hear about. If you are interested in any of these books, I will have links down below. Those are affiliate links, so a little bit goes to the channel, and then it also goes to support indie bookstores, so support your indie bookstores. And if you are a fan of the Friday Reads series, the next video coming up will be another Friday Reads, where I talk about multiple books going on in my life, in my week, and all the good stuff and the things. So if you had fun hanging out today, boop that like button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.